Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's 2030 Insight Live, wherever you're joining us from around the world, if you're catching up, and extremely importantly, if you're joining us here live in the room in Nairobi, Kenya. Welcome. Here's a confession. I've been looking forward to this session because it is about the future, it is about leadership, it's about systems, and it is about a very special program indeed. Also, if you were being cynical, you'd say, Ollie, you're only interested in this session because you want to give your CV to our young systems leaders for a job in 2 years' time. But on a serious note, it's about making connections. And we're going to spotlight some extraordinary individuals over the next few minutes, and you're going to get to meet them over the next few days. So without further ado, I get to be a co-pilot for this session with someone who is already like a wisp of energy onto the stage.
Wearing a suit that could literally blind people, right?
It's
I know, the suit is so bright.
I don't think Caroline Casey needs any introduction.
No, you don't. No.
Can I just ask a question though? Because obviously Caroline Casey, everybody, president of the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness, also a campaigner, entrepreneur in your own right.
Yeah.
You are a big believer on how you shine a spotlight on brilliance to raise other people up, and you've been doing it for a long time.
Very much so. And I have to say, this is my absolutely most favorite part of my job, is this program. Yeah. So I'm going to just briefly explain to those of you who might not have been able to hear yesterday about the Young System Leaders Group and how important it is to us and what we're going to speak about today. Now, I know everybody's energy is just starting to flag down, but you will not have your energy drop today. So the Young System Leaders Program, the whole intention behind it is who are going to be our leaders for the future, to carry on the decades of work and the passion and the commitment that has brought us here today. And I am absolutely passionate about the best way that us as leaders can encourage and make space for the leaders of tomorrow is to actually get out of the way, which is probably one of the most important things. But within the IAPB, we intentionally want to identify who are those next young system leaders. And young system leaders are not just people who are doing this for themselves or doing one specific thing and excelling in a particular area, but they are changing our systems with their energy, with their passion, with their thoughtfulness, and more importantly, they're willing to work together. So for us today, you're going to hear and see our wonderful 9 young system leaders. And as I said yesterday, it's not what you do, you guys, it's how you do it. And from the very first second that you came on the Zoom, you could feel all of your energy. You are the very best part of all of this. So I just want to say thank you for your energy and your hearts and for coming with all of that openness. But this year, more than just have them do their own story in their introduction, we are joined by 3 of our senior leaders. And I say that, I don't mean seniors in old, experienced leaders. Would that be right? Our experienced leaders. Because it's one thing bringing young leaders to the table, but are we creating the right capabilities for them to lead? Are we willing to share authority? And are we willing to create the conditions? So we have asked our experienced leaders to challenge our young leaders about what they believe we need to do. So that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, so that has set the scene perfectly. So what's going to happen is we're going to meet our young systems leaders in 3 batches of 3, accompanied by an experienced leader in due course to have an interesting conversation. So just to sow the seed for hopefully, Caroline, future years, have our systems leaders put their names forward, which would be great. Have they been nominated? How might an organisation say, we'd like to take part. I have someone in mind for the future. How does it start to work? Because we want this to continue.
There's a few ways. Nobody has actually self-nominated, interestingly. We get most of our members will nominate people. And we've also had nominations from outside our membership. Yeah. But we get quite a lot. So this year was our highest level once you go through stages. So we had over 35 when it came to the last stage, and from 35 we got down to 9.
Right.
So yes. And everybody and anybody can nominate. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Caroline. So the scene is set. The thing we've asked is not what I would call an easy thing, because we're going to ask all 9 of you to come up and speak for just 2 minutes and tell us a bit about your story. Now, I'm not in the business of giving advice, but all I would notice is, in all the leaders I've met over the years, Caroline, every leader has their own style.
Yeah, totally.
So despite the fact that we are of a certain way,
Certainly.
actually, just be you and you'll be great today. You know this, and we have your back. So we're looking forward to it, aren't we, everybody? We're looking forward to meeting guests. And so...
And I just want to really remind everybody, English is not everybody's first language. So really want to recognize those of you who are not speaking in your own tongue. So thank you for doing that for us.
Yeah, here's to that. So Caroline, please make yourself comfortable. We'll invite our experienced leaders up in due course. I don't think it's easy going first, so I think our first guest deserves an extra big cheer. All I'll do is I'll announce their name, they'll come to the podium, and they'll just have a couple of minutes to tell us about their journey and what gets them going, what drives them in a sense. Our first speaker, I gave the clue last night that he's nicknamed AAA. I think that means he's a very good bet indeed. Please give it up for Adebowale Alfred Adekunle.
So recently, a friend asked me what I care about and what is most important to me. And I remember saying, I care about people. I care about connecting with people. And that would look like the team I work with at Vision Spring, where we share the same vision, or my fellow young system leaders who I'm happy to share the stage with. Or even everyone I've met at Insight Live through this week, and I will meet in the next 2 days, hopefully. And so when I think about this, what I care about and what is most important to me, I think it's the way I see the world. It's the lens through which I see the world. And it influences everything I do. So at Vision Spring today, I lead global data and reporting. And that's the title, like global data and reporting lead. And it's very analytical. It has to do with numbers. I won't bore you about all of that. But what I really want to come across is my love for people and how it motivates me to do what I do. And maybe as I close, I'll share the story of a man I met at the bank 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure every single one of us has a similar story. Caroline shared ours earlier today. And this man was filling a deposit slip. He's a distinguished gentleman in his 70s, and he was this close to the paper, like less than 10 centimeters or less than 5 inches. I don't know. It was so close to the paper. And it made me think about how just that, seeing him that way, how it struggles with everything. Like, it seems like a small thing, but it's really a big thing. And then when we think about, like, the global mission that we are all aligned with, it feels like, oh, it's big. It's like 1 billion people, but it's actually like people like you and I, like real people with real challenges. And that's what motivates me to do what I do. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, AAA. Go and have a seat. It was great, actually, because I wasn't sure whether AAA was going to get a 2-minute clock there. And in fact, he got a 20-minute clock. So we could have been in for a treat there, AAA. I would have listened to that for 20 minutes. Team, if we get 2 minutes on our others, that'd be amazing. Thank you. It's a pleasure to welcome to the stage our next young systems leader. Please give it up for Adnan Abdul Majid.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Adnan Abdul Majid. I am a consultant ophthalmologist and academic coordinator at Sindh Institute of Ophthalmology and Visual Sciences, SIUVS, Pakistan. My journey in eye health begins in early residency when I realized the biggest barrier in ophthalmology is not only the disease itself, but also the unequal access to the quality education, training, and resources, particularly in underserved areas where people are traveling hundreds of kilometers for the conditions and disease that can be identified and managed much earlier if properly trained professionals are available closer to them. To address this gap, in 2020, I started a digital eye health initiative through YouTube and social media platform with a vision of making iHealth knowledge freely accessible with just touch of a button. What started as a small effort has now grown to the global learning platform, with over 200 plus educational videos covering clinical diagnosis, surgical training, online lectures, career counseling, and public eye health awareness messages, reaching thousands of learners worldwide. The same vision extended in system strengthening and workforce development at SIUVS. I worked on integrating academic training with public eye health by conducting the workshop of a medical officer from remote districts in primary eye care, strengthening the referral pathway and restructuring the postgraduate training program. For me, technology is a very important role to play in making quality education accessible to all professionals, regardless of where they live. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. Good job. So if anyone has had mixed experiences educating online, speak to the person who's had hundreds of thousands of views and thousands of subscribers. Thank you, Adnan. Amazing work. Next up, please welcome our next young systems leader. It's Silvana Torres.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And sorry for my English, it's not my first language. My name is Dr. Silvana Torres. I am from Fundación Visión, Paraguay. I am an ophthalmologist, specializing in retina, and my work is guided to revamp on-wall, making high-quality eye care accessible of the people who need it most. Medicine was not my first dream. I originally wanted to become a violinist, but I became fascinated by how the human body works, like an orchestra, where every part must work in harmony. That curiosity eventually led me to ophthalmology, because a field where we can often restore not only vision, but independence and quality of life. A defining moment in my career was my retina fellowship under Dr. Schmidt, is my chief. I was demanding environment that exposed me to complex case and patient facing significant barrier to care. I thought that technical skill alone is not enough. Good medicine also requires judgment, creativity, and determination. I often think of one patient who had lost vision in one eye and was not responding to previous treatment in the other eye. The medication he needs seems financially out of reach, but we found a way to make it possible. Today, he has functional vision again, has returned to embroidering his wife, something he loves. Occasionally, he brings us embroidery sheets and a thank you. Today, I'm wearing their gift. And for me, that experience defined the leadership in healthcare. It's not only about expertise, it's about finding practical solutions, making care accessible, and creating meaningful change in people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Silvana. It's so easy to be not distracted, but taken by some of the huge numbers in this sector, but to hear about one individual really hits. So thank you very much. A round of applause for our first three young systems leaders, everybody. So now it's going to get even more interesting, because we're going to invite an experienced leader to the stage to pose a challenge, a conundrum, if you like. Caroline.
Yes, experienced leader number one, the queen of fashion. Please can you introduce Fatima Kiara, who is our regional chair for the Africa region, for many other things, but thank you so much for coming to join us. Fatima, we were talking, the reason we wanted to do this was to give our young system leaders a chance not just to talk about their own profiles, but to respond to a challenge, because we often talk about having young leaders, and then are we talking about the right capabilities? So will you maybe set the scene? What are the type of capabilities we need for these new young system leaders to lead in this world?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Young leaders, I think you almost have it all set up from hearing from you for 2 minutes. It's incredible how you've all said what you want to do and what you're doing, and you need to expose. So are we really setting the right capabilities for the skills that you need for such impactful leadership? And how will the system actually support you to grow? Adnan, can you?
In my perspective, there are a few skills and capabilities which are very essential for the leaders to create impact in today's world. Among them, one, the most important, is the ownership. It is the ability to step forward, take responsibility, and act even when there no clear path exists. We, as young eye health professionals, has a huge responsibility, because there are many things that only young people can do, bringing fresh energies, innovation, and courage to change the system. They say if you don't find a good leader to follow, then be the one. The second is the strategic vision. It is like for the impactful leadership, one should have a broad vision while keeping ground realities in front and then plan according to those. And this way we can turn and transform today's limitation into tomorrow's opportunities. The third is the example setting. True leaders don't wait for authority to lead. They lead by example, by role modeling, by inspiring and then aspiring others to follow towards the change. And the fourth, in my perspective, is the team building. Great leaders not only build services, they build people, giving opportunities to the junior, encouraging and mentoring others, and developing a good team is very essential for the sustainability of any eye healthcare system. And the last one is the emotional intelligence, like making diverse people work together respectfully, peacefully, efficiently, with shared purpose, isn't really art, which young people needs to master. Thank you.
Well, those are really interesting things. Ownership, take responsibility, strategic vision. You also mentioned role modeling, which is, setting up an example. And then mentorship, team development, and emotional intelligence. I think those are really superb things. It's amazing how you have thought about them all. Silvana?
Okay, for me, and the first one is early responsibility, because encourage them to take initiative and ownership of their ideas. And the second one is a decision based on evidence, because I'm making sure they know how they define what they believe others think. And the number three is design improved systems, challenge them to think ways to make health system work better for the people. If we really want to build new leaders, we need to give young people responsibility early and teach them to base their opinions on evidence, because that's how you build people who can design and actually improve system.
Thank you very much. Again, I see responsibility coming up. Throw the responsibility to them, and I think they will grab it and grow. Is that what you're saying? And then we need evidence and to think and design, be part of the growth. Alfred,
Yeah, thank you.
I would like to hear your views.
Yeah, Adnan said something about ownership, and I think that's very important, because I think it's important that we all, for us to own whatever we are doing, we have to have this sense of being a part of something bigger than ourselves. And for me, that looks like having a vision or a goal to aspire to alongside the people you are with. And so, we could talk about strategic planning and all of that, but if it's not properly communicated to the next in line or whoever is going to take charge, then there won't be that sense of being a part of something bigger than yourself. And then ownership would not be there, because there is no sense of being part of that collective. Something Silvana mentioned about responsibility makes me think of a phrase from a friend of mine back home in Nigeria, carry your side well. And so if we think about the idea of carrying your side well is about you doing what you're doing as best as you can, but also acknowledging that everyone else is contributing equally, because that's how systems work. It takes a village to build a system, just as it takes a village to raise a child. So I'll give one example about this. Like recently in transitioning roles, I had this bad habit of wanting to do the things I used to do in my previous role. And the way I saw it is, it will take me 30 minutes to do this, and it will take me 3 hours to communicate how to do it. And then I realized that if I didn't trust the other person to come in, because they are coming with their own skill, like I just need to transfer knowledge to them. So if I don't trust them to carry their side well, then the whole system falls apart.
Excellent. I think these are really very important skills and capabilities you're talking about. As I keep saying, it's amazing you have thought through them. For me, I think, responsibility is number one, because sometimes you never really know the person's capabilities until you throw responsibility onto them. And once you do, then they kind of fly. You know, you mentioned at some point during our discussion another day, there's a reason why people are employed. There's a reason why they do the things that they do. Even if they don't do it the way you want them to do, you can teach them. And so that's what Carry Your Side Well is about. You know, carry people along. I think leadership is about building capacity in others. And emotional quotient is also very important, because there are things that we don't learn until you're at leadership positions. But once you're growing leaders, then you entrust that into them, that they also need to develop that emotional quotient, which is excellent. It's a skill that you develop. It's not everyone that has it in them, because it depends on the people you meet and the people you lead. And everyone has their own desires, their opinions, their options, their perspectives. And somehow you have to put in that emotional quotient to carry them all along. So I think those are really, really, really important things. And
Pastor, can I ask a
mentorship.
question though?
Yeah.
You? What would you tell your younger self now that you're sitting on the stage? Like if you were their age, what would you be telling
I
yourself?
think that EQ is one of the most important things,
Yeah.
the emotional quotient.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's really amazing that they're thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
I think emotional quotient is very important. For some reason, because I grew up as a surgeon, right? And in our surgical training, we always we have mentors, is teach one, do one, see one, do one, and then teach one. So it goes on like that. So we build people who are younger than us along the way.
Yep.
So I think mentorship and teamwork is very important. So we're growing that. But emotional quotient was something else, it's something that, please grow your emotional quotients. So,
Okay, I'm really mindful. We have by the way, thank you for being so brief in your answers. However, because we have a tiny little bit of time left, and I know that this isn't a planned answer, but agility is a great skill, right? And to flex and to pivot. I was just wondering, as you leave the stage, each of you, including you, Fatima, for you as a person, and you're talking about that emotional part, if we had to give you 1 or 2 words, what would you want us to remember about you, about how you lead? So it's like how you lead. So I'm going to start with you, Fatima. Like if there was 1 or 2 words to describe how you lead and that you want us to remember you by.
it might not be fair on them, because I've been a very senior leader for a very
Experience.
in a very volatile and complicated environment.
Yeah.
And I see myself as an adaptive leader. That's the right
Adaptive leader. Okay, well done.
leader.
Silvana, what about you? Is there 1 word or 2 words?
They know it is the responsibility, and what is the adapting is a very, very important part too. For me, is that.
Okay, great. Adnan. Give us what 1 or 2 words would describe the way you lead, your leadership style.
Alfred?
Oh, okay. I would say like the work is important, but what is most important are the people doing the work. Just as I was saying during my intro, like it's the people, like where they are and everything they are going through, because people are more productive when everything is all right with them. And so if you want to get the best out of whoever is succeeding you, then you have to make sure that everything is fine with them. Yeah.
Okay, and Adnan, the last word is to you. What would be your 1 or 2 words to describe your leadership style?
So I will take my first priority, that was ownership. It's all start with ownership, because if we don't realize we own something, then we do nothing about that. Public eye health is a real responsibility for us to own it. And if we just let it go, then I don't think so, then what we have left with. So ownership is the most important, regardless whether you have any position, authority, or any incentive. The ownership of the need, that this is the need of time and I must have to do it. So in my perspective, this is the first and most important.
Well, I have to say, having been with all of you, and including you, Fatima, one of the things that I think all of you are incredibly kind. And that's really important for me as a leader. So I wanted to say, can we give a huge round of applause to our first Goten and to our beautiful, experienced leader, Fatima. Woo!
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to our first 3 young systems leaders. And thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Caroline. I'm going to introduce you to our next young systems leaders. But first, why don't we just take literally 1 minute to be upstanding, have a little stretch perhaps. Tell your neighbour, if your leadership style was to be summed up in a word, what would you like that word to be? Would it be a word that someone else has mentioned? Quick.
Bombastic, no. Not that.
I mean, I think the humour is yours, isn't it?
Lead through humour.
Well, you must lead through joy. Hold on, joy. Lead through joy.
Joy.
Okay, lead through joy.
LTJ, I like it.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was excellent. Very good. Very snappy answer.
They are. They're so prepared. See, actually, preparation and ownership.
Brought their A game, didn't they?
Thank you, Fatima. Thank you.
Very good. Right.
Okay.
Caroline, I like that. You kept what you've done now, Caroline, is the next 3 know that they're going to get a curveball from
Well, they might get give me a very quick answer, or might surprise them.
The scene is set. So you get the format, everybody. Welcome if you're just joining us. This is the session where we think about leadership and we get to meet our young systems leaders for 2026. And it's time to meet our next 3 nominees and indeed awardees for this year, which we're very much looking forward to. Just a quick recap, 2 minutes from each of them, and then a conversation with an experienced leader. And I'm looking forward to seeing Gail up on stage very shortly. Please give a huge 2030 Insight Live welcome to Marco Suarez.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Marco Suarez, and even though I build artificial intelligence systems for a living, my most important project right now is distributing a simple, affordable pair of eyeglasses. Picture a 10-year-old kid in Brazil, furiously typing lines of code, obsessed with finding creative ways to make things work more effectively. That mindset never left me. Today, as an insurance technology CEO, my daily life is spent eliminating massive bottlenecks to scale infrastructure. But a few years ago, my pastor and now Director of Operations, Greg Wiens, introduced me to the work of Global Vision 2020. He explained the global crisis of people lacking basic eye care. But when I looked at their approach, I didn't see a traditional medical charity. I saw a brilliantly designed algorithm. I saw a triage system where patients are pre-screened, tested with a proprietary mechanical tool called a UC device, and immediately given the exact prescription lenses they need. The system even had built-in exception handling and identifying complex cases that would be referred to medical professionals. And to a systems engineer, this isn't just healthcare. It's a perfect scalable supply chain. I wanted to deploy this in my home country, so I launched Global Vision Brazil. And we quickly hit a wall after a small mission with Brazilian bureaucracy. So we had to reframe our understanding on how we were going to tackle the problem. And the insights I gained confirm exactly what we needed to do. Treat eye care as a distribution bottleneck. Global Vision 2020 has distributed over 1 million glasses worldwide, and my mission now is to bring my systems thinking to scale this triage framework, tackling distribution bottlenecks, and to keep it expanding globally. As a young innovator, I believe our greatest impact happens when we cross boundaries. And I'm excited to be here to learn how we can all build better systems to profoundly improve human lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. We need to compare notes on supplements. I'm loving this energy. Right, we could. It's great. AAA, giving you a run for your money here. This is good. You've got the memo. This is good. It has been an absolute pleasure meeting all of our young systems leaders this year. By the way, this program, and Caroline is an absolute champion for it, but someone I see day to day giving it an amazing support is Rachel. So can we hear it for Rachel, everybody? Yeah, you see, I know she likes it when I single her out like this, but another superstar on the IAPB team. Thank you, Rachel. Let's meet our next young systems leader. Please give a very warm welcome for Rutul Shah. Joe. It's great.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm visible. Yeah. So hi, I'm Rutul Himanshu Shah from India, an optometrist experience across academia, hospital eye care, corporate setting, and now in public health. So during this journey, I realized the biggest challenge in eye care is not who we treat or what we treat, but who we are unable to reach. So today, I'm working with Mission for Vision, where one of our strength is strengthening the eye care workforce by training and employment of allied ophthalmic workforce. And that is to improve the quality eye care to the communities which is underserved and hard to reach. Because the best solution doesn't create that impact if it doesn't reach the people who need them the most. So my journey in eye care started with a clinical practice where I saw as simple as pair of glasses, spectacles can actually change life. But I also saw that the biggest challenge is also many people who needed this care couldn't access them. It was not because solution didn't exist, but because care was not always available or affordable, or there were not enough eye care personals or system to reach them. So that realization changed my journey from being a caregiver, eye caregiver as an optometrist, to now helping build the system to make the care accessible. Today, I support training across 14 institutes across India and associated with more than 1,600 allied ophthalmic personnel trainees. And for me, each trainee is not just workforce number, but they are the ones who are making access to eye care possible in the areas which were previously underserved. So what keeps me inspired are these young individuals, especially the women, who comes to this course being very timid, being lack of opportunity, and turn into excellent eye care professionals with confidence, purpose, and dreams to do much, much more. I have seen them firsthand become the first person in the family to get a higher education, to have a pursuit to pursue career, and also motivate, become a role model to many, many young girls in their community. Also, many become the participant in the financial decisions in their family. Isn't that the impact? So there is a proverb in Africa that says, when you educate a man, you educate individual. But when you educate a woman, you educate families, generation, and more often the entire community. So to me, that is the impact of strengthening system. It is not only about delivering eye care or services, but creating opportunity, dignity, and long-term change. For me, eye health is not just about vision correction. It is about that care is available, affordable, accessible, and acceptable to each individual. And to make sure that no individual is left behind just because there were not enough personals available to help them. So as we reach 2030, I genuinely believe that we need to think more on strengthening the allied ophthalmic workforce or generally the eye care workforce,
which will be critical to achieving universal eye health, because when we invest in people, we do not just deliver eye care or strengthen the system, we change communities, families, and maybe entire nation and international. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritul. Great job. Excellent. Now, our next speaker in this second group of three, it is a great pleasure to welcome up to the stage. Please give it up for Mehran Memon.
Here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mehran Memon, come from Sindh, Pakistan, where too many people live with avoidable vision loss, not because treatment does not exist, but because they are not just come on time. That's what really drives my work. I am working as Assistant Director of Information Technology at Sindh Institute of Ophthalmology and Visual Sciences, Hyderabad, Pakistan. As a certified master trainer and IT lead peak project, I have supported implement community screening program, door-to-door screening program, household screening program, school screening program, and heavy vehicle screening program across 11 districts of the Sindh province through peak system. Under my supervision, 2.3 million people has been screened so far. Out of them, 15% found positive outcome and 80% of them connected to care. As a focal person safeguarding, I have developed and implement independent policies for the safeguarding at our institute. And I have trained around 1,500 healthcare staff on safeguarding to ensure that services are provided safely and with respect to each other. And finally, I have integrated Washington Group of Questions on Disabilities on the Hospital Management Information System of the SIUS Pakistan to become first public eye institute in Pakistan to adopt this approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehran. Caroline.
Just say, you guys are great. Just want to say that. So the next question that we want to tackle is, are us experienced or old age lemon leaders willing to share authority? Which is the big question. And to help us with this, our experienced leader, Gail Grant. Please give her a big round of applause. Gail is from AbbVie, one of our private sector Band-Aid for IAPB. And when I met Gail first, and I still believe this, you are so grounded. You always make me feel that things are possible and doable. And I don't know what goes on in your head, but you are incredibly calm. So I learned a lot from you, Yoda. So over to you to set the authority question. Are we sharing?
Thank you. I've been assessed and apparently I'm future focused. So
future focused.
My end insight.
Okay.
So I think it's great. We heard earlier.
You take my mic.
We heard earlier from the first panel some of the personal capabilities that make great young leaders. And I think we want to move on to this about authority. And I think from your experience that you've shared, it would be really interesting to understand, what do you believe is the gap between being heard and being trusted? And by that, I mean being trusted with real authority, the authority to make decisions about priorities, about resources, and about the decisions that you make. So if we start with Marco, please.
Sure. There we go. Thank you, Gail. And I think the problem really comes down to, I want to make an analogy very quickly, which is operational trust. When we look at, let's say, the tech sector, which is what I'm exposed to more on the day-to-day basis, people are given resources and support based on their operational execution, rather than just, who's been around for longer or tenure, et cetera. And that's what the startup world is all about. But when I bring this back to, the medical sector, understanding the clinical tenure is very critical, but we are not trusting young leaders enough in terms of their executional capabilities. And I think this creates that operational trust gap, which is, even if I'm able to execute or build the systems that can solve a problem, when it comes time to actually allocating the budgets and the needs to actually scale systems, that's where we go back into the traditional systems and the bureaucracy involved in a lot of new medical innovation. And one of the main things that we saw is when you need to convince a government leader of providing millions of glasses, no one is opposed to that. However, when you're actually trying to secure funding or secure, actual resources or laws or support from the legislature, that's where the real challenge is. So even coming from me, I don't come from a clinical background. I come from a systems background. So it's even harder. And sometimes people look at the initiatives I'm trying to push into the sector. So I find that has been one of the main things I've seen. And I think that if we want to invite these new voices, we just need to be open in terms of not just giving them the stage or the floor to speak about their ideas, but allowing them to be allocated budgets and resources to execute on them and looking at their results.
That's great, thank you. I'm sure many of us in the room relate to that sense that bureaucracy can stifle innovation, and I think it's a really important watch out for us. So Rutul, if you could share your thoughts.
I agree with Marco, and thank you for creating the space for this question. When I reflect on this question, I think many emerging leaders are now getting the platform to being heard, like we are. So yes, so they are allowed to contribute to their ideas, but I again think that there is still different angle to trust. So yes, being heard means your perspective has entered the conversation, but being trusted means that perspective has power, has ability to change what happens next. So, and perhaps because we all work in the eye health, I actually look into it into a different angle. So in eye care, we say, seeing is not same as vision, correct? So yes, so seeing means, seeing help us understand what exists today, but vision help us imagine, create what could happen tomorrow. So I think leadership works in a similar way. Listening to emerging voices allow us to see, but trusting people with responsibility, ownership, decision-making allows us to create vision. So there's a very famous quote by Shakespeare's Twelfth Night that says, some achieve greatness and some have greatness thrust upon them. So I think leadership often develops in a similar way, not because people suddenly become ready, but because they are trusted with opportunity that allow them to grow into responsibility. So yes, thank you.
That's great. I think that really is the important message that supporting young leaders or leaders of our future shouldn't be symbolic, it should be meaningful. So thank you very much. And if you could share yours as well, please.
Thank you very much. In Global Eye Health, we are talking about the inclusion. We invite the patients and the healthcare staffs in our conferences, panel discussions, and we consider workshops. But we listen their stories and document their experiences. But however, there is a difference between the being heard and being trusted on authority. Being heard means you can only speak. But when you are talking about the being trusted on authority means you have to decide. So the main gap we are facing today is the representation of inclusion and the power sharing. We can see from our community that we can take an example, IT persons who are working real time on the data all the day. He better know that which age group is more affected, which gender is more affected, or which location is more affected, on which eye conditions. We can take another example that group of patients is more know what are the barriers of the low vision access. So when the time comes for the hard decisions, means making the policies for the national or international or resources management, allocation of the budget, so we excluded these cadres. So we did not trust on them. That's the main gap, I think that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's true. Evidence gives power to the decision making that you're given authority to have.
Yeah, can I ask you, when you were coming into the system, and this issue of authority, and are people willing to share and give up their seat? Do you have anything that you remember that it was hard sort of to break into that and get the more experienced leaders to trust you? Have any personal experiences around that you can share?
Yes, so I've always worked in the healthcare system, but before I joined AbbVie, I always worked in the public sector. So I think it's a harder lift to position yourself as a future leader in public sector, because I think they're, certainly in the UK, they're quite archaic, rigid organizations with ways of doing things. And I think the advantage I had was youth and confidence. And so I was lucky. I stepped into jobs and then said, I can do that. And then I took the challenge on and proved myself. So I had to prove I was capable to be given the opportunity. So I guess that ambition of youth, I think it's gone slightly now. It's a very different kind of approach now, but I think the confidence of youth can take you far.
And I'm going to ask you one more question before you're going to get a quick fire round as well, you three. But since Ratul brought up the issue of gender equity, and when we're talking about, I couldn't not ask this question, as a younger woman going into a position of senior, can you, Gail, give me your thoughts about that, the issue of being a woman going into a senior position and what's different or what you experienced?
I don't think that's been a problem in the career that I've had. And perhaps I've just not been aware of it and pushed through regardless, but I don't feel I've been challenged because of my gender.
Okay, great. Well, that's really good. So we have a few minutes, very, very quickly. So your quick fire round is, if there is one thing that you can change so that you will be able to share authority, just one thing, and do not be polite, so that everybody can hear it, what would that be? And Ratul, I'm going to start with you. One thing that you can change. You just get one. It's like a 140-character answer. Ratul?
Yes, I would say flexibility to share ideas, to even do mistake and quickly learn about it.
Very good.
So I think, yeah, flexible.
Well, no, the issue with the mistakes, it's really, really important to be allowed to make mistakes and acknowledge them. Thank you, Ratul. Marco?
Okay, well, maybe not as politically correct, but are we able to elect more people in the ministries of health that are technocrats? That would be the first place I'd go to. So that would be the first layer I would change and start looking at data rather than just, say bureaucracy.
Fantastic. Mehran?
Thank you. I think that we have to adopt the policy of sharing decision making. So we can trust on the cadres which are directly involved to the patients, like IT person, the healthcare staff, frontline workers. So when the time comes for the hard decisions, so we can be a part of them, we can trust on them.
Thank you. Well, I have to say, who would not want you to be sitting in positions of leadership? Absolutely brave-hearted, smart leaders. So a huge thank you to Marco, Ratul, Mehran and Gail. Thank you so much. I mean, seriously, how can this not be the best part of Insight Live?
It is excellent. Thank you, everybody. Let's have another round of applause for our 6 so far. This is good, enjoying this.
And also the teams that are doing best on time as well. I'm very impressed, right?
I was about to say we're in severe danger of finishing on time, Caroline. I don't want to change the habit of a lifetime here, but let's stick to it. Right, we're going to meet. Are you ready to meet our next 3 young systems leaders, everybody? Yes? Good. Well, I think once you're, number, 7 on a list, the energy could flag, but we're not going to let that happen, are we? So we're going to give a huge welcome to the stage to our next young systems leader. Please give it up for Subik Chel.
Hello everyone. Am I audible at back?
Yeah.
Yes? All right. আমি জানি না আমি এখনো জানি না প্রথমটা ফলোয়ার্সরা বলে দ্বিতীয়টা লিডার্সরা বলে I see there is a curiosity in this room what this man is telling in the dais. So this is Bengali, my mother tongue, and I just said that I don't know and I don't know yet. First one, followers used to say, and the second one, leaders used to tell. Now, did you notice that there is no hesitation, no thinking, just flowed? Because that is something I am truly belong from, right? Now, coming back to English, this is not my mother tongue, so I try to learn it, I try to practice it multiple times, but I'm still making mistakes. And I think for me, leadership is something like that. We are not born leader, though there is a good term that we are born leader, but I am not. So I am a leader by following people. I'm following people who are doing good, I feel. So I'm just trying to copy from them in my own way. It's not like copy-paste, it's copy, then I will modify, not with AI, with HI, and then I will best. Yeah. And now coming back to my journey, I think my journey I can tell very simply in 3 words: I don't know yet. In year 2018, when I was just thinking I want to become a clinician like my father, then I learned about a course called optometry. And later I realized, okay, optometry is good, but there are limited options. But I already entered, I can't come out of it. But then I learned that there is an institute in India called LP Prasad Institute, but that is 2021, that COVID time. My family is not ready to send me Hyderabad, which is 1,500 kilometers from my home. But like, I want to go there. And then after going there, I realized that, okay, in optometry, there are options to do advocacy, do research, do clinics, and there is many other options too. So we just have to learn that. Then in 2022, I got opportunity to start Myopia Center in Andhra Pradesh, and that is the first Myopia Center of the state of Andhra Pradesh. Then very last year, I got opportunity to work with a team to do community screening, and the timeline is very tight. In 6 months, I have to complete 2 lakh screening with 50,000 topography with some big topography machine, and we able to deliver that. So what I learned that before I started working on it, I don't know how I will do it in 6 months. 2 lakh screening, 50,000 topography in school setting. But the team, that time taught me how to do it. So every single step, no answer before I start. Just that one word, yet. And that motivated me a lot. Asante sana. So, yeah, few people can relate with this. So this is a Swahili. I don't know yet the full language, but before I come to this beautiful country next time, I will definitely learn more about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Civic. I don't know yet. That's my phrase of the afternoon. I love it. Thank you. Next, please, let's welcome up to the stage our next young systems leader. Let's give it up for Chelsea Andrews.
Script.
Hello, everyone. I have a bit of a different background to the rest of my cohort. My degree is in politics and policy, and I've spent about 15 years in spaces around lobbying and advocacy. In college, I was that person who was involved in everything. And in student government, my slogan for my campaign was actually, "Who else but Chelsea?" I share this first before going into a topic that is a bit heavy, and I'll pull back to eye health. But as a content warning, I won't go into anything too illustrative. The most difficult systems issue that I've ever confronted was a lawsuit that rolled into a federal investigation in the United States that prevented the reports of sexual assault on my college campus. As a former class president, it was a big deal when I went on the record with my full name publicly as the first woman in our lawsuit to do so. I went on podcasts, I posted on Twitter, I community organized, I spoke to over 100 women personally who had cases just like mine. And through that advocacy and through that work, I was determined to make sure that no matter what happened legally, our cases or our stories were going to be told and recorded. This case ended up being the largest to date case of sexual assault cover-up on college campuses in the United States. The record holder, I say that not affectionately, before our case, had a $4 million fine. Our case was valued at $37.5 million before it was settled at $14 million with the assurance of policy reform and monitoring over the next couple of years. Wow. Pulling this back, thank you. Pulling this back to eye health, I work for CareLink International in our programming and partnerships department. And one of my favorite projects I've been able to work on is supporting the screeners in India who go door to door receiving prevention of sexual assault and harassment training. These women are not only going out into the community and doing incredible work, but we also need to care about them as a whole while they're doing that work in their communities. We trained them on professional development skills and wanted to make sure that as a lot of them were having the first career of their life, that they were cared for as an individual too. And actually, the Shroff's team, the Dr. Shroff's Charity Eye Hospital team came in because we did an effective keratitis workshop a couple of days ago here in Kenya to train local ophthalmologists and ophthalmologists from all over Africa. And while speaking with them, they told us during a grant review debrief conversation that they actually, because of our pilot, with that prevention of sexual harassment training, where we brought in a Supreme Court lawyer to do so, they have a mandate now through the entire Dr. Shroff's Charity Eye Hospital network where every single employee of theirs has to now have prevention of sexual harassment training. I have been in the eye health sector for just shy of 2 years, so I'm a newbie in this space, but I wanted to share my personal story to add an emphasis on to why this project has been so important to me, and I have a lot to learn, but I'm excited to do that with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. And who else but Chelsea is definitely the campaigning slogan of the afternoon. I've got to tell you, that's great. You need to be coaching us.
You, like, I don't know yet. Who else but Chelsea? I mean,
It's great.
Cynthia.
Okay, so I mean, going first has its challenges, going last has its challenges, but that's why when you're going quotes last, you get extra cheers from all of us. Please give it up for Cynthia Kape.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Ali said, my name is Cynthia Kape. I am a software trainer and design lead at Big Vision, and I am based in Botswana. When I was much younger than this, my mother lost sight in her left eye. Her sight loss was not immediate. It started gradually. However, due to lack of access to the right care, we watched her suffer with her eye and ultimately lose her left eyesight completely. She adjusted to her new fate, her new reality, and it wasn't easy for her and for me to witness. As I got older, one thought stayed with me. If access and early detection were available, would I be standing here telling a different story, or be here at all? Years later, as fate or the universe would have it, I started working for an organization that was in the public health space, and eye health was one of their focus. And I knew immediately that I was where I wanted and needed to be, helping shape programs that will help people like my mother. Today, my work is more than just technology or training. It is about people like her, people who don't know where to find help, or that help even existed for them. I train different cadres to bring care to people that are out of reach, making sure that no one has to wait until it's too late. By teaching them how to use the PIC software, they can go into the communities and identify those hidden needs and make sure that everyone gets the help that they need. You know, what drives me today is easy. Behind every training, every screening, every referral, there is a real person, a real family, a real chance to change the course of someone's life. That is why I do what I do. And if my work can help even one person avoid what my mother went through, then I know I'm where I'm meant to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Right, Caroline, the clock is on us. So we're going to welcome...
No,
by the way,
no, that clock is wrong.
Can I just warn you?
Yeah.
Your next experienced leader has recently stepped back. You know this.
Oh, no, you're not allowed to tell that story.
I'm not telling that story, but I'm just warning you. He's a troublemaker.
I know you're a talker like me, but...
He's ready.
So the next experienced leader, and actually who will tell his story because there's a real authentic reason that he is here today, is a very dear friend of the IIPB. He is the executive chairman of National Vision, but he's passionate about a lot of things, theatres and stages, but very much passionate about the young talent that is coming. So could you please give a massive round of applause to Rifaz?
So I would like to think that I was invited to sit here because 2 years ago, after running the same company for 23 years, I decided I was not the person to lead the next stage of transformation. And so I led recruiting a new team whose average age was about 15 years younger than the current leadership team. And I'm so pleased with the decision. It was such a great decision. And I'm loving watching this new young team do wonderful things with the business that wouldn't have occurred to me. I'd like to think that's why I was invited for this. I actually think I was invited by this because I was walking by Caroline just at the moment that the person she wanted to do this canceled on her. But I'm happy to stand in. And I am a big believer in finding the right moments to bring the next generation along, especially
Either way, right?
Especially in this transformational era. So we have here 2 millennials, and I think what you described as a cusper Gen Z, okay? I self-identify as a millennial, even though I'm a late boomer. And I think this would be a great moment now that you have microphones and audience and you're being broadcast around the world to tell us all the things your bosses and your organization are doing wrong.
Mine is in this room.
Yes, okay, all right. The other alternative is to talk about what your friends say their bosses and organizations are doing wrong. But the specific question is, when thinking about you and your friend, peer, emerging leaders, what do you think is working well, and where do you think there is still work to do relative to creating conditions to help your generation grow, innovate, and lead? And I'm just going to throw it out there. Who wants to be first?
Yeah, I can go first. So in my own opinion, I think many organizations are really investing heavily in identifying people that are talented. I mean, we're all here, right? But there's much less attention given to what happens after appointment. Appointment is often treated as the finish line when it's actually jumping the gun. We're starting it now. And I'm thinking along the lines of learning conditions. Is there a safe space to make calibrated mistakes? Or is the environment so risk adverse that they revert to actually playing it safe? So we need that environment where there's an allowance to make mistakes, to try something new, to fail, learn from it, and be our own leader. Thank you.
Anyone else feel excited?
I think I'm done now. Okay.
You know, I have 2 things to say about that. One is, I've always loved the expression, when given command, take command. Often you're given command, but it's when you're first given command, it's like, do I really have command? Do I need to ask permission? And just when you get it, take it and go with it because they gave it to you. The other thing is, what I've learned the hard way is, leadership is not a safe space. The problem is, when you're leading, you're out there. And it is just unsafe, and developing the comfort with the stress that goes with that. I've always liked the expression, stress is the natural byproduct of leading an adventuresome, important and impactful life, that if you're trying to do that, which is what leaders are trying to do, you are signing up for stress and lack of safety. Okay, but are there some best practices that you'd think about in your organizations where you'd say approaches or tactics that you've seen work that are that you'd say should be replicated, or approaches that other organizations or bosses that you're seeing?
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to start with, like, I thought I am in group 3, so I will learn from everyone from first to group, and then I will modify my version. But what I realize is they actually covered all the thing, and now nothing is left for us. So it's very difficult. But yeah, instantly if I think what else, if I just flip the version that what they could give rather than what I could give. So like if I think that, okay, they enable me as a leader and maybe they are not giving me power to lead. So that means in that case, maybe I have to fight to get it. So that fearless mentality, I think, required among us too. Like all time, no one will give you everything in your plate. So you have to take it in your own plate. So that is what I think. Yeah.
I'll jump into something with that. Maybe a different way of answering, but kind of saying the same thing. Instead of just having to take it, having leadership above you who shares spaces and shares opportunities. The person who nominated me for this award received an iHealth Hero Award in 2020. He's a manager in the room, Jeff. But he's also supported me joining the gender equity working group instead of him having to be on every single call. He knows the passions that I have, and he's invited me into that space. So absolutely, yes, we need to be assertive and take ownership of spaces, but also when you are the person who has that leadership opportunity, being able to pass the mic sometimes and say, hey, this is a space that I'm happy to be in, but would you like to step in as well or in place of me? I think that's really important.
You want to add on that?
Yeah, actually, I would just want to add on to what they said, because I'm thinking also reinventing the approach to mentorship. Usually when responsibilities come, the authority, it just comes, but are we really giving the emerging leaders the authority, the genuine authority to match their responsibility? Like often when those responsibilities come, the decisions are already made. So we want to see them in the room where discussions are happening, where they can also, influence the outcome, make those decisions alongside everyone else.
Yeah. But can I just ask you, as we're coming to the end of this session, was there a person who helped you? Because we've just talked about leaving space and giving space and what are the conditions. Do you remember somebody or something that really helped accelerate you to the place that you were in?
I think throughout life, I had a lot of different bosses.
Yeah.
And you get something from every one of them. So it's not one. You get something from the good bosses. You get a lot from the bad bosses.
Very true.
You sit there and say, "Oh man, I do not want to be that person." I frankly think you get as much from the bad as the good. But having a lot of bosses really helps because you get to pick and choose what you want to put into your toolkit of leadership and what you want to make sure is not there.
The one thing that I love to end, and just because we had a lot of taglines here, like, I don't know yet. And by the way, we never know, do we? And I think any of us who think we know,
the
then
most uncertain world one has ever lived in.
It's so true. And the storytelling is very important. And I think that's something you're very passionate about, is allowing and making people, have the space for their story. So as you guys leave the stage, and I'm going to include you in that, Reid, I want you to give me one or two things that is your superpower. And it's not about the work you do, but about who you are. About who you are. Your superpower. So Reid, give me your superpower. Start. You can go second.
I'll jump in. I immediately know my answer. I've been in a lot of spaces where people, whether it's religiously, politically, socioeconomically, people from every single background, I think one of my superpowers is that people feel comfortable with me, and I'm able to hold space where those people are able to exist with someone else who might be on a different paradigm than them, or even in an adversarial relationship. So I have a background in training facilitation, but it means a lot to me that people of difference are able to hold space with me.
It also means a lot that you own that.
Thank you.
I love that you own that. So well done.
Yeah. So I think my superpower is to tell people what I'm doing. Like always it will be not visible what we are doing in a clinic or what we are doing in a particular job role. So it's our responsibility to showcase, to correct people what we actually doing. So until unless we are showing them, they're not going to see in majority cases. So I know how to show it. I think that is the superpower, and maybe that is the reason in 3 years I am in this chair. Yeah.
Good job.
Yes, and my superpower is, the passion, the ability to feel. Because I know I can feel what you feel being in the situation you're in. And also, my other superpower is being able to enable. Because then I'm a trainer, I enable people to be able to go out there and feel for others and actually bring them the solutions they need.
Thank you, Reid.
And
your superpower.
It's always hard to think of it that way, but I try to set the bar, bring the energy, but mostly make people bigger than they would be otherwise.
Thank you. And can I just say, find fierce-hearted, incredible leaders, one and all. A huge congratulations to Sovik, to Chelsea, to Cynthia, and our amazing Reid Faz. Thank you. Now, Ollie, we're going to invite all of our young system leaders onto the stage with our experienced leaders, if you come up here, and we're going to give a big final roar of applause to my favourite part of all of Insight Live, and then we will be coming to closing plenary. So can we have our young system leaders come to the stage? Okay, great.
Now, do we have, I wonder if we have a colleague, otherwise I can take this shot.
Will you mind doing that first?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we might actually, do you think we might have it on one tier or two?
Yeah. Putting them down.
Yeah, I think if you wouldn't mind just coming down one. No, I'm going to wish I hadn't said that, I think. Yeah. I think, if we just do one there, actually, yeah, Fatima, if you Yeah, but no, this is good. This is good. Yeah, I just think, Reed, if you come in slightly, there you go. That's good. That's good. I just want to be able to see everybody. In fact, Reed, would you mind just taking a step back so we get... Yeah, there we go. I just want to make sure we've got everybody. I want to get Marco in the middle. That's good.
Looking towards me.
It's looking great.
Really lovely.
Come on here. Got it, Tommy?
Yeah.
Good job.
And a huge round of applause to our young sisters.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Just stay. Stay where we are, team. We're just going to get an official Chelsea. Here we go.
Perfection.
That's weird. Oh, shit.
Good.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's it.
Right. Thank you, everybody. Listen, as we tie a bow around this session, just to say, our closing plenary starts in 15 minutes' time in this space. So thank you so much for your energy and attention and support, and we'll see you very shortly. Thank you.